Council meeting for October 20th. Please stand for the pledge. All you, Twyla.
All right, roll call. Councillor Albert.
Here.
Councillor Colby.
Here.
Councillor Ganong.
Here.
Councillor LaRochelle.
Here.
Councillor Ward.
Here.
Councillor Lunt.
Here.
Councillor Fellows.
Here. Moving right along.
Good news and recognition.
Anybody got anything for the fall? Tell me nice things, somebody.
New sign.
Yes, the sign looks very good. I mean, I didn't notice that last night. If I was in a better disposition, I probably would have sent you a text, but I was pretty angry coming home. But yeah, the sign looks amazing. It does. Tell Brett that and utilize it to its fullest. Twyla, steal it from the next 30 days for marketing anything associated with the election as well.
Yep. Brett's put 3 messages or 4 up for us already. So
Right on. Right on. It's a great asset. Cool. Moving right along. If anybody else, nobody?
Well, the good news is that we should announce that the town office will be open on Saturday from 9 to 5 for those that can't get in during the week to absentee in-person vote. It doesn't mean that you're going to take a ballot and put it in the DS200 like you do election day. It means that you're going to vote a ballot that's going to be folded, put into an envelope. You sign it, we seal it, you seal it, we sign that you voted in our presence, and then it gets put into the vault until we process it. Next Tuesday, we start processing absentees here.
So essentially, it's another day for early voting to be able to do so.
Yeah.
That's very good. Thank you. That was my piece to be able to cover that as well, too, because I know you and I talked about it at the last meeting, and we missed that opportunity. Thank you. Anybody else? Next item, Twyla.
We have public hearings next. Once the chair opens the public hearing, those present who wish to speak may enter the room and approach the lectern one individual at a time to address the council chair. Please use the microphone and state your name for the record. Those listening from Town Hall live video streaming are now invited to send written comments by emailing award@lisbonme.org. Councillor Ward will review emails at this time. The first public hearing to open is the victuals license and itinerant vendor permit for Nicole Clavitt doing business as Cruise and Slice, LLC.
I have nothing as of this time, but again, for the listening public, anybody that has anything that they would like to introduce, I feel free to email me through the course of the meeting, and I will make sure to enter it. So I will open the public hearing for anybody. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing for Cruise and Slice, LLC.
Okay. The next public hearing is the 2020 CDBG housing grant.
Anybody wishing to speak on behalf of that item, please feel free. I'll open up the public hearing.
I'm Andrew Altmeyer from Realty Resources and Management. I'm a developer, management company, and owner of Barwell Mill Apartments on Lisbon Street. We are working on a development project down there, and we're working with Maine Housing closely to do a 4% tax credit deal. In addition to that, we're looking into a historical component of federal and state tax credits, and then we've been working closely with the town of Lisbon and on a CDBG grant to put all the pieces together to make this deal work. Currently, there are 82 units at the facility, and we're looking to expand it to 96. That's adding 14 more units there. In addition to that, it's not 100% affordable right now. There's roughly half of them are what would be considered under the affordable program, and with this rehab, we're looking at making them 100% affordable. Within that, we would be looking into any folks in the 1 or 2 bedroom their rent would be in the $600 to potentially $1,000 when you go into the larger bedroom units that way. Right now, we've been kind of working on this deal for a couple of years now, so it takes a lot of time and effort to be able to put something like this together. Working closely with Lisbon on the CDBG grant has really made it really feasible for us as well. Right now, we've just submitted our application to Maine Housing for the low-income housing tax credits. So we're hoping to be able to, have a little bit more idea on timing on construction and things like that towards the end of the year, hopefully. And within that, we're also looking into paying off the loan with you folks for $200,800. And all that is in contingent on us awarding the credits. So right now we're kind of in the phase of just really closely working with Maine Housing as they do their review process. They're a government agency, so they're not necessarily going to give us the green light without them doing their thorough review of our underwriting of the project. We're very motivated to do this, not only for the needs that are needed at that project, as you may have seen as you drive by. A lot of the work is to the exterior of it. There's a lot of brickwork that needs to be done. The roof needs to be done. Obviously, within this expansion, we're looking at adding a little bit more units too. And then on that, we're also looking into the carriage house, which you may have noticed on sort of the side street there. That's pretty beat up and vacant. We want to make that into our community space. So we're really focusing on kind of reviving that area and making it a little bit better for the tenants there and the future tenants, in the near future. So we have a lot of commercial space there right now. So within that commercial space, we want to make that into residential units. So this is just kind of a rough sketch of kind of the layout. So if you kind of are on Lisbon Street, on the upper level there, you'll kind of see the long face of the building. A lot of that is commercial, and there's a hallway. So our architects kind of moving the hallway around and trying to bring more units inside. So this is where we're getting most of our newer units. And then on the lower side, there's an atrium there that we're adding another unit on that side. The project's looked at as a Farwell 1 and a Farwell 2. So it's kind of like a T. The T side, the top T would be the Farwell 2 side, and the long section would be the Farwell 1. And all through the whole rehab, the whole project is looking to be done. At the end of the day, we would have 25 one-bedroom units, 15 two-bedroom units, and 4 three-bedroom units, to total 96 units. So at the end of the day, it's close to 100 units of affordable housing renovated in this community for a long time. So we're really excited about this, and we're hoping to have a little bit more to share in terms of timing in the very near future. So if you have any questions about the project, we're here to answer them.
Anybody?
Pretty well explained.
How many residential units are there now?
We have a total of 82, so we're in 76 or so residential units, and not all of them are affordable. Some of them are market, so we're looking to turn them all into affordable. That doesn't mean that we're moving everybody out. There's a lot of the folks that do have the market units that would already qualify under our 50% AMI, 60% AMI, and we're looking into doing some 80s there right now too. And so it's going to be a very nice blend and be a nice project. So.
On behalf of the council, actually, we're very glad to be able to assist you to be able to go through this grant funding, to be able to tie the old financing to the new associated with that. So I appreciate you guys actually getting to this point on paying off the existing to be able to move us forward associated with that. So thank you.
No, yeah, we appreciate that. I mean, the town's been great to work with, and just really, it's been great to put all the pieces together, and we're really excited about this, and we're hoping to, be able to get going on this pretty soon. So.
Very encouraged, and the fact is, clearly, there's a need for that price point for housing, and it's a facility that can use the infusion to be able to make it happen. So thank you.
Yeah, certainly, and I think it's a great building. It's a centerpiece of this community too. So I think it's not only helping it look better within the community, but it's also helping the tenants there now and future tenants in the future. So we're really excited about that.
I know this is minor, but I'm really personally excited to see the fact that the carriage house is going to have an uplift. I've been walking by that thing for ages, and it looks like a dilapidated something or other that ought to be torn down almost. So if you're able to salvage it and keep it historic, that's great.
Yeah, that's our intent. Is like I said, it's it's our community. It would be our community space right now. That's so we can kind of move our community room in the building out, add some more units there, but then revitalize that space and then making the whole complex a little bit nicer. And I do think it's got a lot of character, that building. So we're hoping that it's going to be a nice community space for our tenants. So.
It's right at the point of Village Street associated with that, and that's an area that is on all of our radar screen for definitely for improvements. So by all means, we applaud you guys' effort.
We appreciate that.
Thank you. Anybody else? No other discussion on the item for the public hearing. I will close that public hearing. Thank you. Next item, Twile?
Is audience participation and response for agenda items. At this time, those in the audience who wish to speak may enter the room and approach the lectern, one individual at a time, to address items or issues that are on the agenda. Please use the microphone and state your name for the record. Those listening from Town Hall Live video streaming are now invited to send written comments by emailing award@lisbonme.org. Council Ward will review emails at this time.
I still got nothing, Twiler. Is there anybody out there in the wing that I'm not seeing that isn't
No.
wanting to speak?
Next item?
Next item.
The consent agenda. Consent agenda items are considered to be routine and will be considered for adoption by one motion and no separate discussion unless a councilor requests an item to be removed for immediate discussion. Any councilor wishing to remove an item may do so now. Seeing none, order 2020 to approve the municipal accounts payable warrants $177,515.71. The municipal payroll warrants $142,217.32. The school accounts payable warrants $299,458.31. The school payroll warrants $379,163.86. The minutes of October the 6th, a vitulers license and an itinerant vendor permit for Nicole Clavitt doing business as Cruise and Slice, LLC. The Seniors Plus annual service agreement, and to set additional absentee processing times by adopting the addendum in the packet to November 3, 2002's election warrant.
Make that motion.
Need a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Order passed 7-0.
Next item, Twile.
Council orders, resolutions, and ordinances. Order 2020-185, the facade grant, 14 Main Street.
Hey, everybody.
How are you, sir?
Brett Richardson. I'm the Economic and Community Development Director, and pleased to bring forward tonight a facade project. You guys have been following along. We've got some the project phase 2 project development phase was completed at the last council meeting, which was the administrative part of the CDBG grant process. So we're now at a point where hopefully by the end of this month, we'll have the contract in place and starting to look at projects that are in the pipeline. And so we have a good project tonight, 14 Main Street, which is the building that Eastcraft is located in. It checks all the boxes for a great project. It's a prominent structure, highly visible from Route 196 as well as Main Street. One of our best businesses in town on Main Street is located there. And these folks put in an application for the process very early on, back in February. An important project for them. The facade definitely needs the work. It's in the designated slum and blight area, and the owners are in good standing with the town and committed to put up the matching funds to make the project work. We reviewed the project at the CDBG Citizen Advisory Committee meeting last Wednesday, and that committee approved the project. So asking for your approval tonight to move that process along and to start to put the pieces in place to put this out to bid, so that as that bid process wraps up, it'll tie in with the contract being approved. We'll have the funding, and we can get this project going for the owner.
I'll make the motion.
For discussion, you got any questions?
Second.
Okay. Anybody have any questions?
Great project. I mean, I'm excited to see it moving forward, and you can't ask for a better person to do the first one to actually advertise it to other people. I mean,
Yeah, she's
person
pretty.
is the gift of communication. So
right.
She's a pretty awesome cheerleader for downtown, for sure.
She's expanding, so it's nice to, this will be the headquarters, and it'll get a facelift accordingly, but it's nice to know that she's starting to kind of branch out in the state here, but this will always be HQ, and she's going to do something, well, they're going to do something to kind of make that happen.
That's excellent.
All in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
Thank
Thank
Brett.
you. Have a good evening.
Thank you, sir.
Next item, Twyla?
Order 2020-186, the 2020 CDBG housing grant resolutions to be moved to a future agenda. Any objections?
Yeah, Mr. Albert does actually make a motion.
Yeah,
to
I'll
table
make
it.
a motion if that's okay. I'll make the
Okay.
motion to rescind the,
Nope, wrong one.
Move it to the new agenda, next agenda.
I'm sorry, I'm jumping the gun here.
I need
Yeah.
a second for his motion,
What was his motion again?
to move it to the future agenda for November.
I'll make that motion.
All in favor? We have a
Order
first and a
passed,
second.
7-0.
I apologize. That was as fluid as Jello.
Well,
Next.
tell us flew at one time.
Right.
Next item.
Yes, please.
All right. Order 2020-187, the authorization to apply for a municipal stream crossing grant for Borough Road.
Good evening, everyone. Randy Sear, Public Works and Solid Waste Director. As you probably read and know, it's our responsibility to keep up on the repairs on the bridges. On Borough Road itself, the estimates come in around $210,000. There's an opportunity for us to get $125,000 as a grant. We've got Mandy Oliver from Oliver Associates working on that. I've also contacted Rick Mason to get some letters of support from the Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. Diane's reached out to another organization to get another letter of support because of how the fish run up through Potter Brook. So we're asking council for the authorization for us to apply for that grant.
Make a motion for discussion.
I need a second to that.
Second.
I got the first and a second. Go ahead, Vern.
And just, I mean, I'm sure that, is this a matching type grant, or is this actually 100%?
No, it's the grant is only for 100. It's
It's a 50/50 match
is it a 50/50 match?
50/50 match for
with
the,
a maximum of 125,000. That's all they'll allot.
So if the project goes 300 grand, we would just pay the 175, is what you're saying?
Right. If it's 300, we aren't going to be able to do it. We'd have to go to referendum.
Right.
But, right.
Right.
We would come up, just say yes. We went
Right.
to referendum, they approved it, we'd have to pay the 175, and we'd get 125 in grant
Right.
funds. I do have, it's to note, we do still have approximately 118,000 in the MDOT matching grant funds
Okay.
that we've had set aside. I've been spending it little by little as we get DOT matching bills in for work that has been done in the last 2 or 3 years on the roads that we have to provide a share, but still we have 118,000.
Does the 210 include design, Randy? I know that this actually has some upfront costs to be able to pay Mandy's her time for helping us with the grant, but for the actual design that she alluded to for saving, does that include that in that 210?
I don't know.
I think it does. I would have to look back at that, but I can get that
Okay.
information.
What reason I'm asking is it would be good to know how much of that would be the design cost, if Mandy could give us an estimate of what that would actually be when we get to that point.
May I ask another
Please.
question? So Randy, 2 bridges on Borough Road, right? Is
It's just the first one that we're responsible for, because the other one is I believe is on the other town line.
Borough in Topsom?
That's correct.
Yeah, I was curious where that
Or
line
Bowden.
was.
I think it's
Bowden.
actually in Bowden.
That's right, yeah. I think it Topsom because the bus goes there to go to
Right.
Manny, comes around. But so it's the first bridge. Now, how many other structures like that in town do we have that we're responsible for that it's not DOT?
Well, I know there's another one that's on the Bodenham Road, and it's more towards the Route 9 side, and that needs just some bridge shoes put on and some approach guardrail and some small repair done to the concrete guardrails that are on it. That's the only requirements that one has as far as the report goes. So
And are we actually held by a certain time frame due to the idea of the structure on the one for Borough Road? I mean, is this something that's actually they deemed to be unsafe or anything, or it's just on our horizon that if it doesn't happen this year, we'll go out again later on?
Well, we have to get it done sooner than later because this has been on since 2019, I believe. And it's just been, I don't know why it's been pushed back, or I'm not going to say it's been put off. But when I found out what it was, what it needed through the pictures and everything, the abutments on the side and everything were deteriorated. The guardrails just basically hanging on by a couple U-bolts, so it's not very safe as far as the approach goes. So I took Mandy out there, and I also took one of the guys from T-Buck, having a lot of experience in that, and I'm a pretty good friend with him, just asking him what he suggested. So we did get a couple of estimates, one to replace the whole bridge. But because that's the only access in and out, they would have to put another bridge beside it to build another one. So that's why the cost was driven up to almost $400,000, correct, Diane? It was $395.
We're waiting for a grant to come through too that could help pay for this.
Yep. And
We had one of two grants. I was looking for a hazard mitigation grant, but I haven't seen any of those lately. And then this one came up, Mandy said that would probably be a better fit. She said it'd probably be hard to get a hazard mitigation, but this one here would be a better fit for it.
Is that the reasoning that it wasn't actually included in the bonding associated with the Borough Road rehab that we did with Summer Street a couple of years back, or was it predating the known issues for a report when Randy gave the time frame of 2/19?
So, meaning the bond for the
Yeah,
Bodenham Road?
yeah, and that,
Well, that one there, I don't know. I don't know that that was an issue back then.
okay, that's fair. That's fair. Timing is such, and there's grant money available, so it doesn't really matter. I was just curious. Yes, Fern?
and
The one on
I'm all for-
Bodenham Road is really not a huge repair, and basically the town has the materials as far as guardrail goes. So that would be something actually that my department could handle. Just have to buy a couple of bridge shoes and adhere them to the concrete, and that's basically it.
Okay.
And I'm all for the grant. I mean, I think we ought to try it, whatever we can do. Now, doesn't DOT actually monitor all the bridges that we drive over anyways? Don't they actually have a team that goes out and evaluates them or?
That's when they send us the report and
Yeah,
say
they
that
did.
these are needed.
They went and did
Yeah.
the inspection.
So they went and did the inspection and they actually notify us that what needs to be done or?
They sent us pictures and stuff, and then
Yeah.
we actually put it into motion and try to get quotes, seeing as though we're responsible for them.
And
Yeah.
they do not have any money for bridge repairs.
Nothing.
Yeah.
If this qualify for like a 50/50, they have no money.
Yeah.
You can help with it.
Yeah, it's too bad we just didn't know, because it seems as though something like this would fit on our capital improvement
Right.
plan if it's something that's actually ongoing that we know. And that's the reason I asked for other bridges, because if we knew there was other structures need to be done, it's easier to put it on a capital improvement, so we know we can.
No, by all means, we talk every year about facilities, and I would extend that to this kind of infrastructure as well, that if we have those obligations, it should be part of a plan, for sure.
So DOT didn't limit it for weight or anything at this point in time? I mean, there are school.
They
buses
haven't
go over
posted it yet, no.
Do we have a mandated completion time?
There is not. I don't believe there is on that letter, no.
Time frame when we might hear back on the grant?
I know it's due by, was it November 9th?
November, it's due in November.
Like the
so,
first couple weeks in November, the
I would think we'd
application's
know
due.
by December.
So we'd know
And
budget
we could
season.
get it out
That's
to bid
that's
and
why I
have it
was
done
asking.
First thing in the spring.
So our piece, we could actually make sure is on this year's
Yep.
coming budget to be able to finance.
How does that work when we actually have roads in town that service other municipalities with no actually connection other than our roads to that municipality? Is there actually any liability for them to actually participate in something like this at all? I mean, without our access, I mean, they have taxation of a lot of people on the other end of town that they're collecting taxes for that they don't.
It's a good question, because it's the only way in or out of that road, so.
Yep. They're relying 100% on us. I
On
mean,
that,
it seems
yep.
so it'd be worthwhile having a discussion to see if there is any responsibility. It just seems that odd a town actually collecting taxes on properties that you can't even access from they're public roads, so.
Makes me think of, and maybe I'm thinking out of turn here, this bridge might not be one of the ones that falls under it, but the end of Edgecombe Road, there's a bridge there that we got stuck holding the bag on the repairs on that because there's a Topsom resident on the other side who that's their only access point to their home. And we were gonna leave the bridge and abandon it, but they've sued us, my understanding, or something along those
And
lines.
there's a lot of
Yeah,
legalities
so-
there. So we've blocked it now so that nobody can go across it.
Right. So, I mean, I don't understand how, if there's another municipality that shares that, to your point, shares that roadway in and out, that we should be stuck holding the bag.
For 100%.
It's worth a discussion. All we can do is get it
Yeah.
now anyways, right? But, I don't know what the legalities are there. It just
Well, we
seems.
can reach out to Bowden, we can reach out to Topsom, I don't know. I don't know where the lands, how they fall out there as far as, where the town lines are, but I know just after us is Bowden. I don't think it turns into Topsom at all, but
No.
it's just,
Diane?
the Bowden area.
Can you actually reach out to Maine Assessor to be able to get information associated with Fern's question if there's an responsibility for another community?
Yep.
I think that would be a better resource, get away from the state of Maine.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And maybe there's not, but again, it's one of those things where it's gonna put out as many of their residents as it is ours if for some reason that bridge was
We
still
know,
out.
we know if we don't ask, we're getting nothing.
In the meantime, we run with the solution that we have in front of us for now, and then
Right.
we get some happy.
Because I
news.
believe there's only like 3 or 4 properties that are in Lisbon, and then the line goes from there. So, the majority of the people and the taxpayers are in Bowden.
It's only 3 after the bridge, I believe,
3,
that actually
yeah.
are town residents and
That's
before
right.
we get to the next bridge, yeah. That I know of, but.
Any other discussion or questions, Randy? All in favor?
We're
Next
past
item, Twyla?
7-0.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you,
You,
Randy.
sir.
Next,
Other business, council committee reports.
school.
Oh, wait,
Nothing new to report.
You set, Twyla?
I was looking to see if it was.
Okay. No, I think you were right. I was following along,
Okay.
planning.
Among few other things, they have a solar farm, new solar farm application review, I believe on Thursday. This one is off of, what is it off of? It's off of Main Street, next to Houston Street. Can't think of exactly where, but it's in that area.
Okay. LDC.
Last meeting was actually done by Zoom. It was a good meeting, a lot of discussion. I feel if anybody has any concerns or questions, reach out to Brett for upcoming meetings, and a lot of stuff trying to happen. It's just process get everything lined up to make it happen. So
Conservation, I would offer that Richard Maine is working with Mark on a harvesting plan for Beaver Park. They have information there, making the recommendation for what's ultimately going to be done, marking, and what the funds are going to be earmarked for to be able to address that. So more will be coming. Recreation. Recreation?
Yeah, I'm napping over here.
No?
I got nothing new.
County, the hearing is slated for tomorrow night, 6 o'clock. Library?
Nothing new to report?
Water?
Last meeting last week, they discussed the water break on Pinewood Road, which happened about the same time that they're doing construction over there. It was a it's around a circle break. And anyway, that's all solved. Everything seems to be set up fine with it. They mentioned wanting to work next year with the town, particularly next year, on paving schedule so they don't cost extra money for both entities. And they've ordered a yard hydrant, a fancy yard hydrant for Gazebo Park. That's to be the Bill Bauer Memorial. So that's that.
The last piece I'd offer there, the Finance Committee has a organizational meeting slated with Kayla and Diane for, I think it's the 27th, 6 o'clock here. So that process is starting to get them up to speed. Town Manager?
So I would like to request that you rescind the bid on the Warrumble Mill fencing project that was previously awarded on August 11th, to CSM.
I'll make that motion. A motion to rescind the bid for the Warumbo Mill fencing project awarded on 8/11/2020 to CSM New England, in the amount of $18,340. I'd like to authorize the town manager and public works director to purchase fencing that the public works department will install.
I need a second to that motion.
Second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
7-0, order passed.
And I followed up with Alan's request after the last meeting. I discussed with Mark Stevens and interim Chief McGee regarding Halloween on Main Street, and we just could not, as much as we'd like to do something, it's just not going to be feasible this year with containing the crowds and COVID-19. But hopefully next year we can do something.
No worries.
Yeah.
No worries. That's pretty much what I expected, but I figured to give you enough time to be able to do something.
Thank you for your effort.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
is there a town philosophy, policy, idea about trick-or-treating this year and Halloween? Has the town got any kind of resolution or idea of a resolution for it?
The police
No.
department actually had put something out on
Right.
media about safe interactions during Halloween.
Yeah,
I
there-
believe the police department did put out just a
And Mark was going to put something out as well.
There are CDC guidelines that I have actually seen. I would actually endorse them because they're just like everything else associated with that. But philosophy, no. There's nothing of that we've taken a stance on. Could you also maybe put that information on our new marketing tool out front to be able to direct folks to something that Brett could maybe place on our website as well? Because I know as we get closer, that question is going to come up more prevalent for sure. Anything else, Diane?
No, that's all.
Department head reports. Anybody have any questions on any of those content?
I just have not so much a question as a recommendation. In the department head report from the economic director, development director, talked about Moxie Plaza, and I know that we had done an extension of the initial, and I believe that extension was through the month of November. I think in light of recent developments with sun's going down a little bit sooner and it's cooling off a little bit faster, and Mother Nature is not really going to help us going forward. So I think identifying the end of this month as the close of Moxie Plaza and reopening of Main Street, with the understanding that November 2nd would be the day of reopen. It's going to take a little time for them to clean that up on November 2nd. It's the Monday following Halloween there. So, but I would like to think that we'll be able to go ahead and use that as a target date to come back. And I was hoping maybe we could vote on that tonight.
You're looking for a motion, or is that your motion?
Well, I guess that would be my motion.
I'd second that.
And the date was one more time?
November 2nd would be the date in which the rec department and I'm sure the public works and the rec department, we're giving them a chance now to kind of coordinate in advance. If we do it today, they can have all their resources in place to, go down there and take what needs to be taken down. And I'm sure they may be able to pick away at it too and get some other stuff out of the way. So, but we want it to go smoothly. So, November 2nd.
I assume all the businesses downtown are aware of this.
So I've done with a couple of the stakeholders who have been using the area primarily, and they're aware. And I'm sure that Brett can follow up with the other businesses as well, the ones that I haven't been able to talk to, and just let them know and make them aware, because I know they'll be happy to know it's coming too. So.
I find it interesting that if you looked at the news recently or last night, that Portland has just decided to keep theirs open until January 2nd, I think, or something
I don't
like that.
understand how that's realistically possible.
I don't know how they're doing it, but they're...
There's been some really incredible problem solving, unique problem solving. There's one woman in Augusta, a place called Red Barn, and she's using these. They're inflatable. They look like gazebos, and they're connected, and they have heat in them. I am not going to claim that it's the best thing ever, and I have yet to go and sit and eat one. I love Red Barn. We usually grab it and go. But I think I am going to go check it out, because she plans on running at least through December with these bubbles. So I think people are getting creative to be able to hang on to those dining spaces. But
People do actually have ice bars during the winter, right? And actually,
That's what I'm thinking.
right.
What the Brunswick's is very cool.
But I think it's been on that note, it's been a great first year. I hope that what will come out of this is an opportunity to explore how we can do this in a way that takes feedback from the folks who gave it in that last forum, and we, nothing but sky's the limit, opportunities for growth here with the Warumbo Mill space, coupled with the Moxie Plaza, coupled with getting Moxie Festival back on track. Man, it's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to it. But this year was good, but I think it's time to bring it to a close.
And our economic development director has actually given us the recap of the feedback that was actually heard on the Moxie Plaza in his monthly report. We also saw it previous too. So if you guys hadn't checked it out, by all means, but it's in the packet for the general public is the point that I would make. And if there's anything that's missing, the red dot, by all means, Brett's not somebody that hides in this community. Reach out to him and make sure he gets that information. Motion's on the table. Second. All in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
Next, item 12.
Under appointments, Order 2020-188, Civil Constable reappointment for Steve Schwennard from Ace Security.
Make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Order passed, 7-0.
Next.
Council Communications.
Anybody got anything that hasn't already been covered? Diane, why don't you give us the update? I had it. We're going to get to this point on acting chief, and
Right.
going through the interview process to be able to set that up for the time frame that works for your schedule so you can be present.
So the app's closed today, so I'm looking to schedule interviews the first week of November. I think Fern and Jeff were the two that wanted to be on the committee, and I'm going to round up some of the regulars. I've got Sean from the planning board has agreed to be on it, and Tracy from the school. So I just got to get a couple of department heads, and then we're good to go.
Perfect. And Tracy was good, because if not, then
Yeah, no,
Kathy.
she's the one that volunteered.
Perfect, because I know that either her or Kathy have been very productive to be able to assist us with those.
Yeah.
Cool. The way that works, Jeff, just so you know, Diane can give you a copy of typically questions that we'd ask the candidates to be able to formalize that, and then anything that comes up through it. So at least there's a standardized script that we actually cover with all candidates. But if anything comes up that you know us well enough to know that it's still going to get asked. So.
Just one more, I guess, to ask Diane. Have we actually, I know we were thinking about having a joint workshop with the planning board on the recreational marijuana. Is that actually coming up for more tentative dates as far as when we're going to do that? Or
They're not, that marijuana workshop isn't happening until October 29th.
so we're looking to go in November and anyways at that point in time if anybody was to ask. Okay.
Yeah.
I believe the idea was to wait until we got the copy of the presentation.
Yeah, and they said that wouldn't be available till at least the week after the.
So at that point,
so
then we could have it.
we'll have to wait and see.
Yep, sounds good. I just wanted to make sure we
Yeah.
keep it on discussion.
Speaking of workshops, Diane, you asked me a question associated with goals with the departments, whether I was looking towards written or in person. Talking it out with Fern, I think the suggestion actually makes sense. I think I would like to do in person,
Okay.
and I would like to do it primarily for the benefit of our finance committee, to actually hear, he calls it a State of the Union. And the fact is, okay, police and fire, what are the goals and where do we stand moving towards them, so that the finance committee can actually hear that. So if they're to come in and start looking at some of the operational costs that are by task, like when we get into public works and the solid waste facility, they have real information of what the department head is hearing from an overview perspective as well. If we could put that at the beginning of an agenda or at the 6 o'clock hour that's outside of the normal meeting schedule to be
Okay,
productive.
so I have the finance committee
Yeah.
come to one of the department head,
Yeah,
the
see-
council meetings, we'll do it like early, 6 o'clock, and as a workshop.
Yep. I think
Okay.
that would make best sense to
Okay.
do it. And again, I am not envisioning that every goal that was actually set, but I would like to hit the highlights.
Okay.
That get the priorities from that so we can get a Reader's Digest version, because obviously with all of the left turns that have come out of building closures and COVID and everything else, we have had to take a step back, but where do they want to look for in the future? That should be standing out.
And if
Yeah.
I may, just, one of the things I think would be interesting this year, not just for council, but people to hear in finance committee is, last year we actually did some crazy things to get the budget where we had them, but there's a lot of departments that are missing personnel. And I think it's important to actually have the department heads express what has not been getting done without the personnel and why it's going to be needed to come back on.
Yep.
So there's going to be a different budget season looking at
Yep.
getting back to staffing where it should be, and it's just nice to know what has not been happening or what the need is, what's falling behind because those personnel's out there. It's more than just a line on a budget. There's a lot involved. So
So we only have one meeting in November. It's November 10th. So do you want to do that, or do you want to wait and do it in December?
Well, I would ask Madam Elections, is November 10th conducive because it's following the election, or should we push 1 week to go to a 17?
No, the 10th is fine.
Okay.
I see no reason.
As long as I'm not putting the stress level to Twyla, I would say that let's go with the 10th.
November 4th is all good.
Yeah.
From there out.
So it's
Don't screw it up, Ricky. We'll watch it.
officially you schedule that at 6 p.m. then.
Okay.
We'll call it a workshop.
Sounds good.
are we going to have enough time within that hour, or are we going to have to break it
If
up?
they just do the highlights.
Hit the
we should.
highlights.
Highlights.
I want to get in and get out in an hour to be able to have it be meaningful. I don't want somebody in the minutia to actually read 20 minutes of what one department's going through, for sure.
Basically highlight the changes from this year
Yes.
to this upcoming year. Yep.
Yep.
And that email that I replied to, you had given it to us, so they give them that same document, and that's
I'm
your
going to. I'll
that's
give
their
them the
starting
same
point.
I'll give them the,
And I don't, again, if they've got 8 bullet items, I don't need to hear about all 8, but tell me in that, where do they see for moving forward and what's not getting addressed right now?
And to Fern's point, if there are hiring needs within the department, I would expect that they're in the goals and explain what advantages.
Well,
there will be.
Unfortunately, no, because the budget came afterwards, so that would be one of the challenges
No,
of
I'm
what's
talking
not
about
being
now.
addressed. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Agreed. And the intent there, again, is to try to put this outside of the budget, so it's a preamble for what we're expecting to hear for coming season, for sure. Okay. Anybody else, council communications? Next, Twyla.
Audience participation and response for new items. At this time, those in the audience who wish to speak may enter the room. We don't see anyone outside, but those listening from Town Hall video streaming are now invited to send written comments by emailing award@lisbonme.org.
I still got nothing, Twyla, so we're moving right along.
All right, there is no executive session. Order 2020-189 is to adjourn.
Make the motion.
Second, please.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you all.
Oh,
Thank you.
God bless.
One of the quickest meetings in a while.
I have that.
Take that
All
one,
right.
get it.
I'll turn the cameras off.
Take that.
Please finish signing your.
Oh, that's right.
Sign my life away already. Hey. Now I know we're gonna get the money from downtown Main Street because we're gonna clear it day before the election, so everybody will have a warm fuzzy driving down Main Street.
I think
Always
that,
thinking.
I think that